that believe that is something that aspirants take for granted. Making things complicated helps them fetch more marks, which reverse thing is the main thing that works. People already in service are making it again. This is because they have cracked that process to make it simple. So once that even the new aspirants get to know that, they would be able to make it prelims. That's what we call by smart techniques rather than hard techniques.
I think that is the first myth I want to break, because if you start studying for 13-14 hours, I was personally able to do it for 3 days continuously, and then I fell sick for 3 days. Showing up every day matters. Some days you won't feel like studying because it's quite natural, you're a human being. But I would still manage to study at least 3 hours a day.
And now looking back after 3 attempts, I just like how the former captain MS Dhoni had also told, control the controllables and leave the uncontrollables.
Hi all. UPSC has announced the Civil Service Exam 2025 results recently. And here we have today with us Dr. Vineeth Lohidakshan, who has secured All India rank 129, and Gopika B, who has secured All India rank 105 with us. On behalf of Team Enlite, I would first of all congratulate both of you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
So, as you all know, we have been taking a lot of interactions both with Gopika and with Vineeth since last years. And we have many videos of both of them in our YouTube channels. So today, we would like to ask both Vineeth and Gopika a few questions. As a mentor, one of the important questions I receive each year is how to plan your UPSC journey. So I also prepare many planning for many of the aspirants. And what I feel is it's not the plan that matters, but the implementation of the plan. And here we have with us toppers who were able to successfully implement their plan over the years in many attempts. So I would like to ask both of you to explain your plan in this preparation journey.
Sir, as you had rightly pointed out, it's actually rather than planning, it's actually the execution that works, and that was one of the major takeaway that I had got from both the initial and the second attempt. And even better thing is that it's simplified plan that always works better. So each time when I gave the attempt, I was focusing on the simplification of the plan. To minimize the resources, to maximize revision, to keep notes as crisp as possible, and just hit the core aspects. So this was something that I had focused, and in third attempt, this was something majorly I had focused. And also we get much used, we plan better to face bouncers. So that's what something helped to face this time's essay paper, because all of a sudden UPSC has changed from 12 papers to 16 papers, which was a bouncer, so which we could face in a better manner. So keeping everything simple and remaining cool and calm to just face the day, that was the main thing that I had followed, the plan that was followed this time.
Okay, Vineeth, I would ask an addendum question. You said making the plan very simple.
Yes.
So if we start oversimplifying the process,
Yes.
so do you believe it can go astray?
Sir, I believe, just as we say in all things, it's the middle path that always works. So there is a kind of complexity that should be simple. So that simple complex thing is that works for UPSC, because we see we are opting for a service that is generalist, that is not specialist. So we ought to show things that can be well known to the examiners in a simple manner. So that's where the simplification that we always put forward, that's what I also meant by the simplification part, to convey things in a very lucid manner that can even a layman can understand. We should shift away from that typical the entrance kind of or the intellectual based examination to something that is very a layman can also understand, a normal person can also understand. So this sort of, that's why even UPSC goes for the basic NCERT kind of questions, because right from class 6th onwards, the knowledge is what is being UPSC testing in that aspect. So that believe that is something that aspirants take for granted. They think over complex or making things complicated helps them fetch more marks, which the reverse thing is the main thing that works.
Okay, we need as we know, this is a 3-stage exam.
Exactly.
So in this 3-stage, if you are to say to someone, this stage can be the most simplified, which will it be?
So I believe each stage can be simplified in that aspect. Prelims, mains, and interview, every stage can be simplified if you know the right process to follow. That is where that is important. If you get that, that's why we see even this time the people already in service are making it again. Almost 240, 250 people have made it. This is because they have cracked that process to make it simple. So once that even the new aspirants get to know that, they would be able to make it. Prelims, that's what we call by smart techniques rather than hard techniques, smart work. So this is through like focusing on core areas, making crisp notes, focusing PYQs. So all this come under the smart work and simple work. So that's what this can be done in all three, because PYQs are there for prelims and mains. As well as for interview, there are transcripts that are there that can be focused. So every stage can be simplified.
Okay. So now, Gopika, in your opinion, this planning means, on a personal note, I know you are a person who plan a lot. So since the interview is too short, we can't go in detail about the entire planning process. But if you have to convey this to a fresher, means a person who is attempting this for the first time, can you elaborate what this planning should be?
Sir, I think what Vineeth has said is what I have to say. In the planning, when we plan, we shouldn't focus on overachieving things. For example, aspirants may start by thinking that they have to study for 13-14 hours. I think that is the first myth I want to break, because if you start studying for 13-14 hours, I was personally able to do it for 3 days continuously, and then I fell sick for 3 days. So maintaining consistency, studying 8 hours is more doable for me. 6 to 8 hours is doable, because you can study for 6 hours and read newspaper for the 8 hours, or make notes and revise or something. That is more efficient. And keeping things very simple, because over the years, in my first attempt, I used to read a lot of current affairs magazines, and I used to revise them also. In the second and third attempt, in which I cracked the exam, I have never once did that, because I realized that only newspaper is sufficient. If you read the newspaper very well, if you know what is going on in the world and in the editorial, and if you attend some current affairs class that you have attended in your PCM, that is more than enough for the exam. Sometimes aspirants have a tendency to focus and divert from the plan by thinking that, okay, you have to study more current affairs, but the basics, our basics should be strong. So that was my plan, to always make my basics strong and keep on doing the important things repeatedly.
Okay. So what I get is, one need to believe in oneself. And once we stick to the plan, not listen to any other person.
Yes.
Okay. There will be various persons who will come with many plan. Okay. And if we start elaborating on the plan, it can go astray.
Yes.
Right. So while speaking with Gopika, one word I heard from Gopika is consistency. So in this preparation journey, just like we hear about Sachin going every morning and practicing continuously, that consistency is needed in UPSC journey also. So since both of you have given multiple attempts and have written multiple mains, so you understand the importance of this consistency factor. So can you elaborate what you mean by consistency?
Sir, the UPSC journey is both physically and mentally draining. So being consistent is very important. So what I did was, I would keep my notes short. I would focus on studying the important parts, 6 to 8 hours, and showing up every day matters. For example, some days you won't feel like studying, because it's quite natural, you're a human being. But I would still manage to study at least 3 hours a day, so that I felt like I have put some effort. So that kind of consistency actually shows up in your exam, because studying before the exam for 13 hours, 14 hours for 2 months is not going to make a difference. But over the years, when you have done the same things multiple times and bring some creativity into it, it keeps the process interesting as well as keeps you consistent.
Okay, so when we consistently do the same thing, the process becomes more perfect.
Exactly. So for me, actually, consistency, as taking from Gopika's earlier point. So keeping like the studying hours within my range of interest. That was one main thing that I did. I never overworked. So my maximum kind of hours would be 6 hours or 7. I have never crossed 7 hours during the preparation time. Because the point I cross 7 hours or something, my productivity drastically falls, and we start losing interest in the things that we study. So if we are keeping in that range, the threshold range of interest, we would be more curious each day when we'll be more curious to hit the study table to read more things. This is one aspect. And second thing is that we should be always open to the advices and the opinions that can make improvement in ours. So we should be critical in our own points. What more extra step that can be taken? Where I had two approach. So two-way approach. So one was that from mentors, everyone from Joseph sir, Abu sir, and Mahesh sir. So I used to take the opinions, what can be improved. And second part was that during my second and third attempts, I used to mentor aspirants as well, those who write. And I got a lot of learnings from their papers. Because their students there in their attempts, they give exceptional points, exceptional presentation. So I used to think, why can't we also try to emulate that? So in this kind of two-way process, I used to try to emulate, and this helped to maintain in turn the consistency as well. And this makes the process very interesting also.
Okay, Gopika, you also used to mentor students in your later attempts now.
Yes.
So, means what kind of inspiration did this mentorship session help you out?
Actually, the mentorship sessions helped me to revise prelims for the third attempt, because I was in the after the second attempt, I was not planning to give the third attempt, because I had decided that my second attempt was my last attempt. So during the mentorship sessions, I didn't used to study, but I used to teach them. So I would study for them. So that actually helped me to crack the next prelims, because I was in touch with all the subjects and I could write the third attempt very smoothly. And I think seeing their enthusiasm and how, because they are more curious and they are new to the process. So helping them actually rejuvenates us, and it brings a break in the monotony of our days also. So that was like a very inspiring moment for me also.
Okay. So now we hear that few aspirants actually get exhausted after 1 or 2 attempts. It is because they are not happy with the process. And when I ask few aspirants, after they have exhausted every attempt, they will say that if given another chance, they will rectify certain mistakes of theirs, or what we say, undo their preparation strategy, and they are sure that they will crack. Okay, so I have even heard this from toppers, saying that means all toppers will say that if given an opportunity, they can do little more better. It's not about getting rank, it's about making the process more simplified or more enjoyable. So in both of your opinion, if given an opportunity again, it's not about writing the process, it's just a hypothetical question, so that your inputs can actually benefit the future aspirants. What stage in your preparation or what process will you undo so that you can make this process more better?
Sir, I believe in my first attempt I was over focused on prelims, and my mains score suffered a bit because of that. Even though I reached the interview stage, my mains marks were not good. So I think there should be a balance between prelims and mains in our process of studying while we are in coaching or while we are preparing itself. So focusing a bit more on mains and focusing more on answer writing would actually help. And like I previously said, I wouldn't read any of the current affairs magazines, because UPSC never asks questions from them. In my second attempt and third attempt, I didn't even bother to read any of the magazines. I just read the newspaper and went and wrote the exam, and I got marks. Blindly going and reading multiple magazines is a waste in my opinion. But it is up to the aspirant, because they have to judge for themselves. So what is useful in their opinion might change, but in my opinion, I would read the Hindu and the Indian Express, etc., which is more than enough, and I would make notes from it. So I would revise my current affairs notes. So that actually made a difference.
Okay, Vineeth.
Sir, in my case, I do not think there is something that I would like to undo, because while coming to this exam itself, I was of the belief that I wanted that this exam has both controllables as well as uncontrollables, and whether I crack this exam or not, but however, when I give my efforts into it, it should be maximum, and I should never have regret afterwards that I should have something else extra. And now looking back after 3 attempts, I just like how the former captain MS Dhoni had also told, control the controllables and leave the uncontrollables. And so nothing to do with the ranks. I'm totally satisfied with the efforts that I have given.
Actually, that is also simplifying the process.
It is actually simplifying, because like even how we have the right to the work and the effort that we put, but not to its results.
That's
so
it's living in the moment.
Exactly.
Okay. So, if we one another question that comes into my mind is, we need to be happy with this process.
Yes.
This process is too long.
Exactly.
Okay, means if you start with one attempt, it will at least take 1.5 years. Means nearly 18 months for the final outcome to come for one attempt.
Yes.
So this long journey requires aspirants to enjoy the process, be happy with the process. So in your opinion, means the process was little long for you also. So how you were able to maintain this happiness quotient? It's not about being motivated, it's about enjoying the process, as you said, being in the moment.
Yes.
In the preparation journey.
Yes.
So how you did that?
Sir, again, that each and every moment would have its own the happiness part. Even going out with friends for a cup of tea during the preparation, the reading time in the reading room, is actually a moment of happiness. The conversations that we have, and we normally say that rather than you adapting to UPSC, bring UPSC into your daily life. So that's something that helps us to maintain the normal life, as well as deal with the various ups and downs of UPSC in a better manner. Again, in different stages, bringing different aspects. Like I used to focus on my sports. I am interested in sports aspects, so I used to go for badminton as well as football tours along with friends. And also the mentorship part, that also helped a lot to actually help others in the due process. So I'm even happy that I have mentees in service, in various services, who have had better ranks than me over the years. So that's also a moment of happiness quotient that helps us to maintain. So there are various measures. So finding happiness in each and every single thing is something I feel will help us to get through this UPSC process.
Yeah, even this preparation journey, there is no standard format.
Exactly.
Okay, I have heard aspirants who re-engineer their preparation.
Yes.
Not from basics, but from reverse engineering.
Yes.
Okay, so there are various ways we can actually go through this process, enjoy the process. So about Gopika, so how you enjoyed this process? Means what was your happiness quotient in this?
Sir, in my first attempt, I was very happy because I was learning all these new things, and I can come from an engineering background. So learning all these social science subjects was very interesting for me. So the first attempt is like a very fresh attempt. In the second attempt, you start, in my first attempt, I missed the final list by 8 marks. So you're starting on a low note. But the thing is, you can start on a high note as well, because you just missed by 8 marks. You can make it the next time. But in my second attempt, I was, like Vineeth said, I engaged myself in recreational activities as well. For example, I took up swimming. So that, and I used to go daily. After mains, I used to go swimming every day. So this actually helped me control my mental health better, because I was focused more on the physical activities and bringing a better balance to my life. So I think I would advise all aspirants to not just focus on preparation and bring a balance in their preparation, because ultimately you need your physical health to be in the service and to serve the nation. So if you are just focused on the preparation part, then you have to serve the nation. So you have to be healthy for that also.
And I think one more point that I would like to pitch in is about the FOMO that aspirants have during these times, especially with the social media aspect. they often tend to compare their preparation journey with the peers who are not at all in the preparation sphere. So their life would be advancing, and when you are stuck in a loop or a point stance, they tend to compare that and deteriorate their own mental condition. So that is something again aspirants have to move away from. So I never did that because each journey is different. So I tend to focus on our own journey, what milestone that we are going to get, because it's something this process has that ability to circumvent all the kind of progress that your peers have made in this process. So when aspirants are able to do that, I believe a happiness quotient can be better maintained.
And surrounding yourself with good people.
Good
For
peers.
example, your mentors who motivate you consistently. Because I used to come to Mahir sir all the time when I was feeling sad or depressed, and he would talk with me for 1 hour about something else, not even related to UPSC or anything. We would talk about movies or some random stuff that is going on in the country, and I would leave happy. So you need people like that around you, and I had my friends who would constantly come to my house and pick me up and take me everywhere. So you need such people in your life so that you maintain this process.
So you all might know about the history of Abraham Lincoln. Actually, for Lincoln, when he became the president, he was too old.
Yes.
Okay, he became president after many failures. So this is what actually Vineeth said. We can't compare. Each person is unique. Each person's preparation journey is different. Because of social media, that fear of missing out actually is creating a lot of issues among aspirants. So this question actually, if you have heard my previous conversations with various toppers, my question would be how you maintain the mental health. Okay, actually they brought the answer rightly. This was a question I planned to ask, but indirectly they gave me the reply. You need to be happy with the process, not compare with others. Once you are happy, the outcome will naturally come.
Yes.
Okay. So one last question. Actually, this question is all about Team Enlite. So I would like to ask both of you how Team Enlite actually helped you in your preparation journey.
Sir, I have been associated with Team Enlite from the beginning of my UPSC journey because I am a PCM student of Enlite. I joined, I think, in April 2022, and I studied philosophy with Mahir sir. So Team Enlite is a huge part of my journey, and in all the attempts, I have consistently sought help from Team Enlite. And especially coming to optional, where Mahir sir was my mentor, in both GS as well. In philosophy, I have never referred to anything else. I have only used his materials and his test papers and test series and questions. So that kind of ease that I got with Enlite, that was very helpful because I didn't have to think about or worry about my optional, because Mahir sir always said he'll worry about the optional, you just have to write the answers. So I could unload my burden on him and he would take all the load. And in the case of GS also, Joseph sir and Abu sir and everybody helped me. So Team Enlite has a huge role in my success.
Sir, I had pointed this out the earlier time also. It's the ambience or the ecosystem that Enlite provides. It's such a very welcoming and like without any barriers. Such kind of ecosystem, it's very rare to find anywhere. And as Gopika had noted earlier, the kind of conversations that we have with Mahesh sir or Joseph sir or Abu sir, like everyone, there is also a conversation that exists beyond UPSC. That is very soothing in the process altogether. And in terms of the civil service part itself, so I have been associate since my first interview. After that, the second attempt, mains interview back again. This time also mains interview. And this time especially we were in our academy during
Yes.
the interview days. And Joseph sir used to sit like on a regular basis for the IRS kind of questions. Again, my sir and you used to sit for the GS kind of questions or the normal kind of questions, taking that extra measure possible. So this was something very like ensuring that we are there with you. So this kind of that support is something that is very highlight of Enlite that has been providing. I think that is always something that a aspirant also desire or aspire through their journey.
Okay, that conversation, we go beyond this because UPSC journey is not about GS only. It's actually modulating your entire character. You can't attend a
Yes.
personality test
Test.
without changing your character. Means they easily find out who is a fraud. They will aptly find out and they will penalize you for that. So these conversations actually help in all your attempts, because in prelims it's all about presence of mind. If you get tensed, one question gone, 0.33, your full year is gone. In mains, you need to maintain that tempo over 5 days. So if you are not motivated, 1 day gone, 3 hours, it's gone. In interview, it's all about bringing out yourself. Okay, and it is very lovely to hear that you were happy with our ecosystem. So once again, on behalf of Team Enlite, I would like to congratulate both of you in a very successful bureaucratic career. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sir.
sir.